Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us today, whether it's your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you may be in the world, whether you've got a cup of tea or a cup of wine, glass of wine, I hope, unless you're hiding it in your mug in the office. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Hope you all get jumping on okay. I can see people coming through. If you just want to pop something into the chat box at the bottom, say hello, make sure you can hear us, see us. It's always good to know that things are working properly. As we go out through the webinar today, if you do have any issues with the connection or things start to lag, sometimes if you just close the webinar and open it back up via the link, that hopefully will solve it. I don't think we've got any internet issues our side, so we should be okay. As we're going through the webinar as well, please do feel free to ask any questions. We are going to do a Q&A section at the end, but drop any questions in as we go along, just so you don't forget to put them in. We can go through all those and make sure we've answered all your questions at the end. Hi Mary, thanks for saying hello. So that's good. So Mary can hear us, so we're going to have a great webinar with Mary today at least. So we know we're on board. So it's a good start. It's a good start. We've teamed up today with WorkflowMax. WorkflowMax, we've worked with them for a long time, and I'm sure lots of you have come across them. I'm not going to sort of butcher their introduction. I'm going to let them do that much better than I will. But one of the things that I'm really excited today about the webinar is that it's very practical, and we've got a story in there as well. So you can actually sort of see in real life how things can operate, how things can work for you. I think lots of webinars are very good, but lots of them touch on what I'd call the theory of stuff. And what I really like about this one is it's going to be very practical, and you can see actually how you can relate that to you as you go forward. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Sarah, who's going to introduce herself, Natalie and Michelle, and run away with a webinar today. Over to you, Sarah.
Perfect, thanks David. I'm just going to share. Okay, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. So as David mentioned, we are here with one of our WorkflowMax expert implementation partners, and we're going to talk to them about the change to advisory and how they've grown their business. But first of all, just so we're all on the same page, I'm going to take us through what WorkflowMax is quite quickly and which clients it's best suited for. We're then going to talk to our implementation partner, Michelle, and listen to her story. Then we'll take you through how to become an advisor if you want to go through that advisory piece with WorkflowMax. And then finally, as Dave mentioned, we will have Q&A at the end, so just pop your questions in the bottom for us. Awesome, so what is WorkflowMax? Now, WorkflowMax is an end-to-end job management solution with functionality to serve the entire 10-stage job cycle that most service-based businesses have. Now, as WorkflowMax is highly customizable, it's a great fit for a wide range of industries. So WorkflowMax enables you and your clients to manage all their jobs, tasks, and people in the one place with various functionality. So we've got lead manager, you can create quotes, you can track your time, track costs, we've got work in progress, invoicing, and of course, that all important reporting. Now, WorkflowMax is suited for a wide range of industries. In fact, we have over 40 different industries successfully using WorkflowMax for their business. However, these ones are our main ones. So our creative agencies, IT services, building, construction and trades, engineers and surveyors, architects and business consultants. Now, they are all service-based businesses. Their time is their money with costs and disbursements as extra charges. And the jobs that they do will usually span several days, weeks, months, or even years. Now, some of these industries will use all of the features of the job cycle. Some will use some, most, or even few. Awesome. So without further ado, I would love to introduce Michelle from Nimacc Lounge. Now, Michelle is one of our expert implementation partners at WorkflowMax, based in South Africa, and has helped numerous businesses move to cloud software, such as WorkflowMax. Now, also with us today, we have Natalie, Head of Northern Hemisphere Sales for WorkflowMax. Now, welcome to you both.
Thanks, Sarah.
Perfect. So Michelle, Nimacc is obviously a very successful business. Could you tell us what services you and your team offer to your customers?
Thanks, Sarah. So what Nimacc ultimately does is we really try to get into the business and to digitize the business as far as possible. by saying to the business, we are in 2021, and if COVID has taught us anything, it is that we do need to go virtual. So we come in, we have a look at your business, and then by utilizing the Xero ecospace and applications such like WorkflowMax, we then try and streamline your business processes as much as possible by building in the various automations.
Perfect, awesome. Now you say that you offer solutions within the Xero ecosystem space. How did you choose which apps to support and implement?
So the honest answer is loads of school fees, loads of school fees, loads of bottles of wine, because, you know, these apps, some of them are running like 12,000 updates on an annual period. So to try and keep up with that is almost impossible. So what we did is we basically went industry for industry, and we chose an app that fits each industry in our minds perfectly, of which WorkflowMax has been around since the beginning of Nomac, which was almost 5 years ago. But it was basically for us to say, let's nail each industry and choose an app for each industry that we find works for us.
Amazing. So with that, why did you choose WorkflowMax to implement? And could you show us some of your favorite features, Michelle, of the product?
Okay, so I'm gonna have to remember to share my screen this time around, right? Okay, so WorkflowMax, we use it ourselves, which, I mean, you can obviously sell anything if you believe in it, right? So for us, there we go. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Perfect, all right. Okay, so we use it for ourselves as well, which makes it an easy sell. And the fact is it's actually super simple to use. So when you come into it, you've got a complete bird's eye view of all the current jobs or projects, implementations that you are currently busy with. And you can also filter this on saying managed by. So which project manager is managing it, or which consultant is managing that job, which makes it super easy. And I mean, we all love a nomad lifestyle these days. So the coolest thing about this is that you've actually got the application for your phone as well, that you can manage it from. So I just created a little job here. We just called it the Nimacc Business Lounge. So when we are doing implementations, what makes it really easy is that you've got all the information here relating to that job. So you'll see that we've implemented the job name, we've said what it is that we're doing. And on the right-hand side here, or sorry, left-hand side here, we've got a little, we've got folders that we have created as well. So this ultimately does become your one version of the truth. All these fields that you can see at the bottom here are customizable. So that's something we really like as well. And especially when implementing it for our clients, because this is actually what makes it industry specific, right? Is the availability here of the customization. We also integrated to Google Drive. So we use these links as well that you can put in. And then the milestones make it super easy to run this project. So you'll see what we've done here, for example, we have put in different milestones, starting by saying, you know, let's just ensure that we do have a proposal that has been received. And based on this, we can start ticking off the milestones. It serves as reminders as to when we need to raise the first invoice. And from there, we can just start ticking them off. We've got the various tasks as well that we can book time against. And the coolest thing about that is that you can book it off your mobile application. So the mobile application looks similar to this little screen that you can see here. And you can only book time that you have against jobs that you actually have access to. So it just kind of saves you from making any errors around that. Then you can obviously complete your timesheets on it. You can add various notes. So bringing it back to what I said, one version of the truth. As we'll chat later, my ADHD gets the better of me. So one version of the truth is important when you're running a business in my shoes. And then your little financial tab. So here we can see what are the estimated billings that need to run. So this was time against a rate that has been booked, the various descriptions of the costs that need to run, the quote that was initially done, and any invoices that have taken place. So you can, at any time of this job, you can go into a little financial summary here, and you can just get an idea in terms of where are we with profitability. So it's really simple and easy to use. And you can run it off your phone. I don't think it gets much better than that.
That's amazing. Thank you, Michelle. So Michelle, let's talk a little bit more about you, because you have got such an amazing story. You're a self-made entrepreneur, starting off obviously in your corporate career. Could you tell us why you left and kind of started Nimacc Business Lounge?
So I always start this answer by saying that I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur from the age of 10, because I had a history project to hand in with an oral, and I made mom help me bake a cake in the form of a castle. And I got to school and I did my history project, and I handed in the projects and I did my oral. And when I'd received my marks, I cut up the cake and I sold it during break. And mom picked me up in the afternoon and she said, where's the cake? You know, we thought we were doing coffee or tea and cake for lunch. And I was like, I don't have the cake, but I've got an envelope full of cash. And this was at the age of 10. So I always knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. As your journey goes, I ended up studying accounting, because when I needed to leave school and start studying, mom was actually really ill with stage 4 cancer. So finances was the easiest thing that I could do remotely while I started my articles. And so I ended up implementing some systems, and I ended up working for PricewaterhouseCoopers, where I had a beauty salon at the side as well, while being a corporate accountant, which was pretty fun. And there I paid my own school fees as well. And when Xero hit the market, it was something different. It was almost like it was something I had been waiting for, because being an entrepreneur myself and running businesses myself, but also understanding accounting and understanding how tough it is to do accounting, those big green ledgers, it just made sense to me. I was like, this is exactly what the market needs and what the entrepreneurs need. And the corporate world was absolutely phenomenal, and I loved my career in it. But I almost felt like there was too much red tape and almost a lack of understanding at that stage in the market in terms of what the business owners actually need to run their businesses. And I took the leap. I kind of just said, this is it. And I quit my job with 1 month's notice, with no plan really, other than this sort of desire or this passion inside of me to say, it's now time to empower other entrepreneurs.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And when you first started Nimacc, kind of how did you get your first customers?
So I was very unsure when I first started, but I knew people in South Africa at that stage, because Xero didn't have a presence here, and I knew people needed to know about Xero. So I went around to various accounting firms that I either knew from previous relationships or that I built up at that time. And I said, hey, let me show you Xero. Let me show you what's happening. And obviously understanding that world, it was an easy sell for me at the time. And I used to sign retainers with them, where I used to go maybe once a week or twice a week or a couple of hours. And I'd say, let me help you digitize your practice. And in the same breath, sort of start taking your clients over to Xero. And that was how we started. One-man show, signing retainers.
Amazing.
Awesome. And look at you now. So Michelle, obviously that was in the beginning. How do you attract new customers now? And how do you also work with accountants and bookkeepers?
So Nimacc, to be honest, hasn't pushed to market at all in the 5 years. We've purely been working on a good social media presence and word of mouth. And we also pride ourselves in just being honest and transparent as well. And I think that also attracts new customers to us. You know, when you're not always going to get it right. And I think we've got quite a story in the school fees that we have paid. And with that, you do upset a couple of people. And it's just about taking ownership. And I think that attracts customers in itself as well, you know, just to kind of say, this is who we are and this is what we can present. And then with the accounting firms, we sort of operate as their back office engine to say, how can we get you on the cloud? How can we assist you in becoming app advisors yourselves, but without your clients really knowing we exist? So we're giving them almost the full credibility of it in terms of helping them digitize and automate their practices, but also in terms of helping them assist their clients from a processing point of view and to obviously making the move into digitizing their businesses.
Awesome. Amazing. So what do you think the key has been to Nimacc's success?
Lots of wine. We're going to sound really bad at the end of this webinar, but it's been wine. It's been triathlons, to be honest, just to try and keep that sanity. And I can honestly say, like, the past couple of months, it's been a really great team and a great culture that has added to that success. But just grit. I think it's one thing I say to everybody that's starting out in this app advisory space is that it's definitely not easy, but it's just consistency and showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it.
Nice, perfect. So obviously that brings us to the last 12 months. It's been tough for everybody, but how has it been for your business? What challenges have you faced?
So the first 3 months of lockdown in 2020, we had all our clients cancel our SLAs, literally every single one of them. We had all our implementations being put on hold because people were obviously nervous. And for the first 3 months, we had no income coming in. And that resulted in some tears and some introspection. And eventually when I sort of pulled it together, I said to my team, all right, now we're going to utilize this time to say, how can we improve our customer experience? All the internal processes and our own SOPs that we are kind of neglecting, let's fixate our attention on that and see how can we improve this business internally. And then when the market is ready, we'll be ready for it. And that is exactly what happened. We spent a lot of time in terms of personal development, internal training, internal SOPs. And as soon as the market started opening up a little bit, we ran some really good specials to kind of say to the people, all right, we know that you do need to be on the cloud now, so let's meet you halfway with this. Let's see how efficiently and how affordability we can get you on the cloud. And this year, 2021 it's our year 5 now, and it's been an absolute record-breaking year in terms of numbers and also just in terms of margins. And I think it is because we are utilizing the tech to its fullest.
Awesome, that's great to hear. I think COVID has definitely highlighted the need to being on the cloud for a lot of businesses. So Michelle, where do you see Nimacc heading in the future?
So where we are heading is to basically be an international service provider in terms of business strategy and sort of AI and development, to say, how do we digitize this business? And by utilizing the applications such as WorkflowMax to make it so simple and affordable and just so easy to use.
With that, Michelle, we've seen a lot of posts on LinkedIn from you about kind of gratitude and reflection. Why is this subject so important to you?
Okay, so here comes the truth part, right? Okay, so I think just like everybody else, I do by no means think I'm alone in this, but I think just like everybody else, I've got my own journey and my own story to share. And I think for the first time in my life, I'm feeling pretty good and pretty content in terms of where I am and where the business is. And the truth is, for a large part of my career while being an accountant, I kept feeling like I'm really not good at this and I really don't fit in, and even in the corporate life. And it turned out in my late 20s that I've actually gifted ADHD, but because I did so much sport at school, nobody really realized this. And this became quite clear when I couldn't keep a job longer for 9 months, either because of boredom or, whatever the case was. And that also led to a lot of change in my personal life. So about 5 years ago, I walked away from quite a toxic personal situation that was really not serving me at the time. And I walked away from this situation and I moved into a flat with no furniture for 18 months because I decided I'm starting a business. And there would just be nothing holding me back. And I moved into this apartment and I had no furniture, and this was my life for 18 months. I had a bicycle because I was doing triathlons to keep me sane. So there was a laptop and a bicycle in this apartment. And within the first 3 months of all of this happening, I wrote off my car, and I couldn't at that stage get financing for a new car because I was fun employed. And nobody finances anybody that's fun employed and doesn't have a pay slip, and the business is so new. And with this, I was also learning how do you run a business as an entrepreneur with ADHD. And this is something that's become quite personal to me, because I think a lot of your really good entrepreneurs are actually gifted ADHD. So I'm trying to run this business by not taking medication, because one, I can't afford it, because I'm trying to put this team together. And then I look at it now 5 years later, and I just think, you know, I've made so many mistakes in these 5 years, and you know, you haven't always delivered the best client service at the time purely because you don't know any better, or you're battling with capacity. And I look at where we are today, and our clients absolutely love us. I personally have completely learned how to harness my ADHD as this superpower. And just the team is incredible. And like I said, we're shooting out the lights in terms of targets and the numbers we're hitting this year. And I look at where I started, and I just think it was so worth it. And, you know, when I speak to people today building businesses and they say how difficult it is, I'll say, you know, I was probably about a year in, and I was so burnt out and so exhausted that I would get home from a day of meetings, and I'd get into bed with my heels, my makeup, my dress, everything. And I'd get under the covers, and that's how I'd sleep for the next 8 hours or 6 hours, because you're just too exhausted to even take off your shoes, like not even exaggerating. And then, like I say, then I look today, and it's like work-life balance, harnessed ADHD. I've got an incredible team, and it honestly tears me up when I think about it, because it's just so much to be grateful for.
Honestly, you're very admirable with your journey, and thank you so much for sharing that with us, Michelle. Finally, what is your favorite feature of WorkflowMax? And Sarah, actually, what is your favorite feature too? But Michelle, you first.
I keep bringing it back to ease of use, Natalie, because I think, and I'd like to add to that, you know, and once again, touching on the ADHD, you know, with all these apps available, it's like shiny object syndrome, right? There's so many to choose from. Like, which do you actually choose?
Totally.
And WorkflowMax is so easy and simple to use, but at the same time, it's giving you like such relative on the ball reporting that's real time. And then obviously the mobile application, like I can run it off the bicycle, off the indoor trainer. What's not to love?
Love it. Sarah?
I just want to say, Michelle, you're such an inspiration to anybody who does want to start a new business. So my favourite feature has to be Report Builder. I'm an ex-accountant, so I love reporting and I want to see the figures and everything. So the fact that Report Builder is so flexible and we can build whatever reports we need to for our clients, yeah, that has to be my main one. What's yours, Natalie?
You've got me on the cuff there, haven't you? Well, obviously being in sales, it's going to be the lead manager module. I just love the way that you can manage your new business as it's coming in and kind of track all your activity. But yeah, mine's definitely the lead manager module. What I'm going to talk about now is the benefits of becoming a WorkflowMax advisor. So if you want to become a WorkflowMax advisor, like Michelle, we have just the kind of certification for you. Following from this webinar, I would recommend completing our advisor course to partner with us. Partnering with WorkflowMax means that your clients will get the benefit of your expertise, whilst you in turn boost the value of your services. The key benefits to becoming a WorkflowMax advisor are that you get free access to your clients' accounts without using up any of their user licenses. You get access to a free demo account for you to play with and show your clients. You also get a partner discount if you own a subscription on behalf of your client. And then finally, you get 5 Xero partner points for each WorkflowMax subscription that you hold, meaning that you can quickly get to those next kind of Xero levels. In order to become an advisor, you just need to complete our advisor course, which is at workflowmax.com/advisor. It takes around approximately 2 hours to go through what WorkflowMax is, and then you can then contact us and we will get you set up as an advisor. To get your clients started, so if you think that WorkflowMax is going to be a good fit for your client, you can make use of our 14-day free trial to get that client on board. After this 14-day free trial, there are kind of 2 options when it comes to signing up. Either you can hold the subscription on behalf of your client, or your client can. Our pricing plan is tiered, which means it's kind of based on the number of users plus any potential extras chosen, such as that lead manager module that I love, or premium. And WorkflowMax Premium includes things like productivity reporting, client groups, recurring invoices, and it's also got a Xero invoice import. If you wish to look at the pricing based on users, just head to workflowmax.com and they're all listed on there. So with WorkflowMax, you have got some various onboarding options. I'm going to talk about those 3 different options now. There's 3 implementation options that suit various businesses. The first one being our premium implementation. This is where you can tap into our network of certified implementation partners across the globe, where they take full control over the planning, discovery, and transition process, thus ensuring that your client gets the best setup for their business and in turn, the best experience. You can then have a guided implementation, and this guided implementation option consists of 2 parts. Firstly, you'll get access to our comprehensive self-implementation course that is then bundled with 5 hours on one-on-one consulting with an implementation partner like Michelle. Finally, the last option that you have is self-implementation. And this is a comprehensive online course that includes kind of step-by-step instructions on how to set up WorkflowMax for your business using a mixture of video tutorials, reading materials, and a handy workbook to guide you through. So that brings me to the end of talking about our kind of the advisor courses. I'm now going to hand over to David to do some Q&A.
Brilliant, thanks for that, and thanks, Michelle. That was really great, and like I say, we all love listening to a good story, don't we? So it was really good and really insightful.
Because the other part of the bit was 6A and 6B.
Just noticed that you're not on mute, Alex. Alex, I've just noticed that you're not on mute. Very good, thanks. Sorry about that. So a couple of questions that have just come through, so let me just get those back up. So one of the ones that have come through, Michelle, and this is one that we always hear from our readers, it's that thing of saying, like, okay, look, I really like what I hear. For example, WorkflowMax sounds great, but what's your advice to people in terms of taking that first step, where it might be, let's say it's an accountant and they want to take that first step for looking at WorkflowMax for themselves because they've not got it for themselves yet, and then to look at it for all of their clients. What's the first sort of step to take to actually doing that from your experience?
It's the same first step as guys that want to start a business. It's just start. Just start. But in all seriousness, it would be, what we like to say is, before we kick off, is clean up your client sheet. So clean up your client sheet. Make sure you've got the right addresses, the right telephone numbers, so that the data is actually clean in that. And take some time, maybe just on a quick chart or even handwritten, and just map out sort of your onboarding process quickly, and what does sort of a project plan look like? You know, what does that process look like? Then at least you've got that foundation to say, okay, but what would we like the system to do for us?
Yeah. Brilliant, that's good. And another question that's come through is saying, this sounds great and I think it'd be great for my clients, but I don't have time to spend time with my clients. Are there people out there I can get to help sort of put in touch with my clients and help them to implement this?
So I'm going to sound really salesy, but
don't worry, I was trying to do a plug there for you.
I'd be like, just reach out to us. But I think I can speak for all the implementation partners out there. You know, it's at the end of the day, there are various ways of doing it. You know, it can be done under the accounting firm's brand, or it can be done through the implementation partner to deal with the clients directly. But there are really various ways of doing that to ensure everybody's comfortable.
I'm just going to add in the, sorry, David. So as Michelle is one of our expert implementation partners, we do have a network globally. So if you pop to our website or reach out to myself or Natalie, and we can direct you to the best implementation partner that could potentially implement for your clients as well.
Brilliant, thanks for that. And I think I've got one more. Just having a look. If you've got a question, make sure you put it in now because we're going through them. I've got one more question. I'm just having a look. We had a couple that were sent in before, so I'm just seeing to make sure that we've answered them. Some of them we've answered as we've gone through, which is great. Okay, so one is, how long do you think it takes to get going on WorkflowMax from a time investment perspective? And I suppose this probably depends on how big the business is. But what would you say in terms of how much time does somebody need to put to one side to say, okay, I need to do this properly?
So that definitely depends on the size of the business. We like to work with any implementation we do. We like to work with 3-month change management, but that doesn't mean it's going to take you 3 months to get valuable information out of the system. It could be that, you know, the first couple of weeks you are meeting with the rest of your team to kind of get everybody's requirements and say, you know, what's going to change your world, what's going to help you to operate more efficiently. Take some time to map out some blue sky. And, you know, then obviously you start with the actual implementation phase. And with that, if you do an all hands on deck approach, you can literally be up and running within a week. But it's going to be to say, let's choose a week during the month that is suitable for you. We've got the leads list that you've cleaned up. We've got the blue sky. We've got the requirements. Dream big, because we've got all these customizable fields available to us. And then say all hands on deck, and you can be up and running in a week. But then to be mindful of it, to say, you know, any change management within any company you are looking at about 3 months.
Brilliant. That's great. Thank you very much for that. I think that's all of the questions that we've got. So I know that we'll be doing an email out after the webinar with a follow-up with a few links and that type of thing. But is there anything that you want to finish on, Natalie and Sarah?
Sorry, I've just checked out this slide, hopefully you can see it. So this is Michelle's details. So if you do want to reach out to Michelle, either to get her advice on moving into advisory, or if you do have clients that you want to implement WorkflowMax for, then please do get in contact with Michelle directly, and she can assist. Otherwise, myself and Natalie are here as well. So just our email address is there. If you do need anything, if you want to move, want to find that course or have any questions on that, then please do just reach out and get in touch.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for that. Thank you, Michelle, as well. That was really inspiring. And I know the listeners today really found it too. There's some great comments coming through. So thank you for those. That's really nice and really appreciated.
Perfect. Thanks, David. And thanks to you for having us.
No worries. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Brilliant. And the sun's still out here, so I'm going to go and enjoy it. So everyone else too as well. See you later.